Hey second graders, Miss Shannon here with your Comprehension Skill of the Week. This week we will be working on theme. We worked on theme previously, but this time we will be using theme with poetry. Here's a reminder about what theme is. The theme is the main message or lesson. Identifying key details in a poem can help you figure out the theme. So as we read this poem together today, I want you to think about key details that the character is saying or doing to help us figure out the theme of our poem. Okay? For this activity, you will need your Turn practice book, page 193 through 195. So if you don't have that next to you, I've got mine right over here. I want you to pause this video, go find it, and press play when you have page 193 in front of you. Here is our poem. This is on page 193. It is titled The First Skate. I would like you to listen and follow along as I read aloud. Here we go. The first skate. The temperature has been below freezing for days. The pond is frozen now. The ice is as smooth as glass. I can skate outdoors for the first time this winter. I put on my skates and lace them up tight. Then I step onto the ice and push off. Right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. I glide over the ice like a bird. I spin in a circle and start over again. Turn the page. I look up. Overhead, the sky curves like a blue bowl. I look down. Below the ice, frozen bubbles look like crystal beads. As I skate, the cool breeze feels like cold fingers on my face. My cheeks turn as red as apples. I'm warm inside, though. It feels like a fire glowing as I skate round and round the pond. I keep telling myself one more time until at last it is the last time and I step off the ice, landbound once again. Okay, second graders. Wow, that was a really fun poem to read. I hope that you all enjoyed it as much as I did. We are now going to answer a few comprehension questions about our poem. Question number 1 asks, what was the setting of the poem? So that means, where did this story take place? Do you remember? If so, can you find the spot in the text that tells you where she is? Let's take a look at the beginning of the poem again. I can see that on the second line, it says, the pond is frozen now. The ice is as smooth as glass. So that stanza or phrase tells me that the setting is the pond. That is where the story took place, the frozen pond. So I can put that information into a complete sentence. The setting of the poem is the pond. Now, second graders, I expect that you do write this in a complete sentence. Please don't just write pond on the line. We are really practicing, preparing for third grade and making sure that we can write a complete sentence. So go ahead and pause this video as you write your sentence and press play when you're ready to move on to number 2. Okay, number 2. What did the girl do? What was she doing in the poem? Did you listen and hear about the actions in the poem? We can go back and find text evidence to support our answer. On the first page, I have underlined where it says, I put on my skates and lace them up tight. Then I step onto the ice and push off. The author tells us the actions of the main character. And I know that when you put on skates and go onto the ice, that you must be ice skating. It also says that she spins in a circle. So I can imagine the girl in the poem skating in circles on this pond. So that is what she is doing in the poem. What did the girl do? The girl went ice skating, or the girl was ice skating. Again, remember to write this in a complete sentence. We are not just writing ice skating. We are giving this a complete sentence by having a subject and a verb. So the subject is the girl. And what did she do? She went ice skating. Press pause as you record your answer and press play when you are ready to continue. Okay, that leads us to number 3. What is the theme of the poem? What is something that we think the author wants the reader to know from hearing this poem? The theme is something that carries out throughout the poem. It doesn't just appear at the beginning. It is really something that there are clues throughout the poem leading us to the theme. So for this question today, although I normally do have you do the third one on your own, we are going to do it together. If you feel like you want to do it on your own, that is totally fine. But I am going to support those students that would like some help. So we are going to go back to the poem and search out clues that we think are leading us to the theme. When I look at this poem, at the beginning, the author talks a lot about the temperature, that it's been freezing, so cold that the pond is frozen. Okay? The temperature has been below freezing. Can you imagine what that feels like? Below freezing. It's been cold for many days. On the second page, the author once again says that there was a cool breeze. Not just any old cool breeze. A cool breeze feels like cold fingers on my face. I want you to imagine that, second graders. Can you visualize or imagine being this character skating on the pond and the breeze or the wind is so cold on your cheeks that it feels like cold fingers are placing themselves on your cheek? Just imagine that. The author also uses the phrase, "My cheeks turn as red as apples." Now, I don't know about you, but when I get really cold or when I'm out in the snow for a long time, boy, my cheeks turn really red, like so cold from the cold wind or the cold temperatures. So can you imagine this girl skating and her cheeks are so red from the cold? But she never says that she is freezing, like she isn't having fun. She actually says, "I'm warm inside though. It feels like a fire glowing." So even though all around her outside it is freezing, inside she feels warm and she's happy because she's ice skating, right? So if we're thinking about the theme, at the beginning of the story, the author mentioned how cold it was. And again, mentioned the temperature later on in the poem. So this is something that is becoming continuous throughout our poem. So I think that our theme, or what I have come up with, perhaps you thought of something different, but that even though it is cold outside, or even though it is freezing outside, ice skating is still fun to do, even when it's freezing. So we could say, ice skating is fun to do, even if it is freezing outside. Or you could think of it as it's fun to do activities and play outside in the snow, even when it is freezing. So that's kind of the theme of the poem, that this girl is enjoying ice skating so much, even though it's freezing outside. Okay? So take your time to write down your theme of the poem. Remember to write it in a complete sentence with a capital letter and a period to end. Press pause if you need to before continuing with the video. Okay, so if you are on this slide, this means that you are finished. So option number 1 is take a picture of page 195. You probably already finished it with me while watching this video. So take a picture of it and put it in the green box and you'll be all finished. Just click submit. Option 2, if your camera is not working, I would like you to please type your answers on this slide. So you will click where it says type here, and you will type your answers to questions 1, 2, and 3 that we just answered together as a class. Once you have finished typing your answers, you can click submit. Awesome work today, second graders. I appreciate your effort. Double check that you wrote in complete sentences.